Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Sophie here with another installment of Today in the Fourth Reich, and let's get going on TikTok as well. Once again, I'm still waiting on some things to be resolved, so I'm kind of going back and forth. So, pardon me if I'm flip flop in my head so much, but hopefully, I'll get that resolved soon. And let's see, I can hear myself somewhere. There we go. All right, so let's get going really good here. Good morning, everybody. All right. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Today in the Fourth Reich. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and jump in, everybody. Thanks for popping on. I really appreciate your attendance. Um, yeah, so hi, I am Sophie of standwithsophie.com. I provide survival guides, live trainings, secure comms, printable action cards, and so much more because I was fortunate enough to escape the United States. So, since I live in the UK, I'm 5 hours into America's future. So, this means that I can share news that you can expect to matter today, and I can't be disappeared for doing it. So, I'm allowed to, I think, give my take on things a little bit more than most may. So just to jump right in, if you're on TikTok, you're not seeing my visuals. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to fix that soon. But again, I'm just going over the headlines from the future, from 5 hours into the future of America, just to kind of let you know what's happening. And honestly, it's just sad that each and everything that I lift up that's happening in the world or happening in America or happening in the news, it just contributes more and more to my assertion that we are following in this man's footsteps in lockstep, and it's pretty horrific. Um, so today in the Fourth Reich marks day 106 that a black woman, Adriana Smith, is being used as a human incubator for her now 23, 24-week old fetus, even though she is brain dead. And there she is. If you're on anywhere other than TikTok, you can see her beautiful, beautiful picture. It's absolutely disgusting that they have her essentially being forced to be experimented on in this way simply because Georgia's forced birth laws are absolutely antiquated. But again, what more do you expect in the Fourth Reich? You know what I mean? Somebody said, thank God for President Trump and all of his actions he is doing and done. Yeah. Seeing as though God, if it exists, is a cruel and unjust evil being, that makes a lot of sense that you would attribute Donald Trump's actions to it. So, well said. Um, Another thing that's kind of happening, here's another picture of Adriana and her little boy. It's just devastating that she's being put through this and that her family is being put through this and they're being charged for all of this. It's pretty horrible. Drama says they're pooping right now. Hope it's a good one, man. Get your fiber in. There's also been breaking news that the White House has rescinded federal guidance on emergency ABs, which is awful because it's basically the White House telling Republican led states in particular that they can just let women unalive themselves. They can just let them go. And the Georgia case in itself is telling. There's already another internationally trending case that's very similar. And we're seeing them all the time. Just all these women who are suffering from basically not being able to get the care that they need. And so it's pretty terrible. Um, Mark says, thank God I'm out of America. I couldn't agree with you more. Hey, great man, how you doing? Make sure that if you're happy to hear some headlines from the future, that you are tapping, following, sharing, liking all the free stuff. If you want to throw some shillings my way and give me a gift, I'd greatly appreciate it. But you don't have to. But I'm happy if you do all the freebie bits. Because again, I'm time traveling here, y'all. I'm coming from 5 hours into your future because I luckily escaped America and I live in the UK. So I'm hoping to give you some heads up on the headlines that are going to be important today or that might matter today. So again, keep an eye out that there's even more uh, travails down the road of us becoming a handmaid's tale, which is deplorable. In other Trump news, the higher metals tariffs kick in as the deadline for best offers arrives. In other words, in Canada and in Mexico, not the European Union though, which was originally planned because they're in trade deals, supposedly. But the tariffs on metals and aluminum are now in effect because I guess they didn't work out some sort of a deal that he was anticipating. Um, Also in other news, in other Trump news, he has absolutely uh devastated his own base by going, "Hey, Paul." Yeah, I'm back. You guys, I was banned for over a week. Um, am I accepting? Yes, I'm a radical queer socialist activist here in NYC. May I join? Um, yeah, sure. Let's see. Tim says they are honestly, if you're a dissenting view, you're welcome to join. But this is just sort of my little quick headline thing, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. So sorry. So sorry. She is waking up here, I think. But hi, Query. My dog's name is Queenie, and I thought that's what it said. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But hi, how are you? What's on your mind, or what's popping up for you? Yeah. And you're extremely low. And I don't think it's just me. Do you I can hear you, so it's fine. I'm a little worried about it, but just yell at me. And you said so you wrote a paper that was kind of along that same line. Mhm. Mhm. No, not at all. Mhm. 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 Mm. Well said. Well said. Well, first of all, happy Pride. And second of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that. And I like I'm such a huge advocate and ally. I, being a black woman, I definitely see how historically it's just like you said, the blame shifts for what all the ails in America or in a particular country are. And honestly, I'm glad you latched on to the Reich thing because these trans people are some of the first people that this guy went after. That people on YouTube that this guy went after. Um, there was like a whole institute for like transsexual and transgender studies that was like burned down. It was one of the first actions that they did, and there was like years and years of research that's just gone now. That so just to think about how much further we could have advanced in helping people to, cure their gender dysphoria, and to just live the lives that they want to. And then what's crazy is, I was just looking at the history of like transness in America, and there's a woman. Oh, what's her name? Christine, Christine Jorgensen. And so to see how when she came out, she had her surgeries and she was just celebrated, and her parents were so happy and proud of her, and she was in the newspaper. She became such a big socialite. Then there were actually like female to male trans people in sports who were really celebrate. Like, so it's nuts to me how quickly, once uh I guess the Christian minds and the white nationalist minds have to find the next thing to hate on, they go for, marginalized communities. But it's sad how to see how much they were celebrated at one point, and then suddenly, because Paul Weyrick and the Heritage Foundation, or some, again, just some of the Christian nationalist people who exist in our world, decide that this is the thing we're going to try to pit other people against, or like you said, use as our new scapegoat. It's just absolutely insane. Wayno says Helen Keller makes more sense than this, and I bet you don't even know who the fuck she is. Helen Keller would have been like the biggest trans advocate ever. She said, so what now? No, 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 no. Helen Keller was the man. You might be thinking of Susan B. Anthony because they were both working with like suffrage and stuff around that time. But no, Helen Keller, we all know her as being blind, deaf, and dumb, and she had the miracle worker help her. This woman was a huge advocate for black rights, civil rights, women's suffrage. But we don't ever hear about that part of her life. We only hear about, oh, she overcame her disabilities and stuff. um but yeah, Susan B. Anthony, she's a piece of shit. She literally said, I would rather cut off my arm than let a black man get a vote before me. So historical white women, they're kind of a hodgepodge. But yeah, it's kind of nuts that this man would lift up Helen Keller, has no idea who she is. But I'm just kind of blabbing. But I'm with you, honey. I'm so proud of you. I hate that you're experiencing what you are in this shithole of a country. Hmm. Hmm. shit, didn't it? The 1940s and stuff. But I mean, what's crazy though is they can't really help it. Like the sad thing is I just saw a study that literally showed that people who espouse like alt-right or ultra right wing extremism and authoritarian views, they did fMRI studies on these people, and literally their frontal cortexes are shrunken. Like they literally don't have the brain mass and capacity for empathy, compassion, theory of mind, um, so many things that we need to be able to understand the lived experience of others, and things that help us to mitigate our baser functions and our lower functions. Um, so it's capitalizing on that. I agree with you as well with the idea that Trump is a proponent of hate. But what's wild is the people who voted for him and MAGA and everybody, they voted for him because he hates the same people that they hate. But what they don't realize or don't seem to care about is that he hates them too. He hates poor people. He hates anybody who doesn't have power. He hates red states. He literally doesn't like you. And so it's just like you said, like the things that he's putting in place that are going to have these long-term ramifications, they're not just going to hurt black people, they're going to hurt everybody. Like the Social Security Administration stuff, all the tariffs, like literally it's hurting everybody. They just don't care because it's affecting the people that they hate. So, and again, like they physically cannot help it. They're just physically dumb. They're physically unempathetic and cannot, so I've long since stopped try to change anybody's mind when it's just physically this shriveled piece of shit brain that they have. Poor babies, I pity them. It's, what are you going to do? We just have to band together, stand together. The people who know, like my show standwithsophie.com, really it's all intended to say shit is not good. We have to support each other, we have to build community with each other, and you know what, if things pop off, we're going to be ready. And if they don't, fantastic. That's awesome. I hope that everything goes smoothly and these next 4 years work out just fine and he leaves office gracefully and all that. But I just don't see that happening. So why not? What's wrong with being ready? What's wrong with being prepared in the instance that shit goes down? So Query, I really do hope that you will check out standwithsophie.com, that you'll follow. And you're absolutely welcome back anytime to chit chat. Did you have any final thoughts? I want to try to jump back into some headlines for the day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks, really nice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're post-racial, right? Absolutely. And honestly, like even seeing some of the comments and stuff, like I immediately think, oh, these are just bots. Cause yeah, like it's honestly like no very few, I think, real people really think these things. I'm sure some people are just keyboard warriors, but I just in my head I'm literally like reading like, oh, is this a man or a woman? Like, okay, you're just a bot. Marty, sure, say potato, sweetheart. Okay. I just don't believe you. And I'm happy to welcome up guests who have dissenting views, but it's just hard for me to believe that this many people, like literally whenever I come on, it's almost like 90% of the comments are this bullshit with like you said, just straight up hate. And so I refuse to believe these are real people. So hopefully we can cut through and reach actual flesh and blood human beings. Again, not to try to convert people who don't agree with us, because I don't understand how you can disagree with, yeah, history and headlines. Yeah, exactly. But either way, it's gonna be okay. And I'm just hoping to offer, um, I guess, myself as like a sword and shield for people just like you, because I don't live in America, so I think rail against this a little harder because I don't have to worry about getting beat up, and I don't have to worry about getting disappeared and or renditioned or anything crazy. Um, hopefully not anyway. So we'll see. Yeah. You as well. Yeah. Thank you for Yeah, it's nuts. We did a whole show, and literally we went for like 5 hours, and the entire time we're just literally making these links, making these connections, everything from their parents and how similar their parenting was to their affinity for art, to their use of Christianity, to the way they view journalists and enemies within and fake news, and literally everything is just lockstep, not to mention the whole timeline of everything. So like, yeah, I'd love for you to send me your paper when you're done. And again, you're absolutely welcome back anytime. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you so much, Query. And we'll talk soon, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm gonna. No, no worries. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You too. Bye. Thanks. What a sweetheart. Alrighty, so let's just jump back into some more headlines, because again, I'm Sophie of standwithsophie.com, and I live in the UK. I was lucky enough to escape. So I am 5 hours into America's future. So I'm here just to try to give you a heads up on some of the headlines that might matter today. So we've already talked a little bit about how Adriana Smith is still being used as an incubator for her baby. It's day um, 106 of this. And we talked about how the White House has rescinded federal guidance on emergency abortions, or I don't know if I could say that, ABs. I see I have another guest request. I'm honestly here just trying, like, this is not a debate show. I'll let you up because um I feel like people have been waiting for a bit. Oh, first of her name. Hi, first of her name. I'm well, and I failed to do this with the previous guest. I'm so sorry, but can you tell me your name or what you want to be called, your age, and your pronouns? You sound so cool. Oh my God. No, let me tell you, I love the whole contra alto thing happening. Layla Hathaway is one of my favorite people on earth. So I'm here for it, trust. But no, what's on your mind? Hmm. clarify before you jump in? I I we have evidence that there's at least half this country that espouses hateful ideology. So no, I'm not naive to the fact that there is a large contingent of people who are very hateful in this world. But I'm saying when I come on and do these lives, literally 90% of the comments are just garbage. And so I just, again, I can't believe that those are people who would either exist in reality, they're probably just bots, or that they are just keyboard warriors and they're just saying what they can because it's anonymized. I don't think they would go to work and say this same thing to their black boss that they're saying to me, you know. Um, so just saying my experience on here, I'm trying to qualify it in that way. But no, please go on. No, for thank you. Thanks, Scott. Hmm. 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 Mm-mm. Mm. I I don't know, man. I don't know, man. This dude is the president. This dude is the president. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And try to say like YT, Mayo sapien, palm color, whatever, just because they'll flag you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh yeah, they're the global minority. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's the problem. They don't. They literally don't have the brain cells. Like it again, the study I was talking about previously shows that literally their frontal cortexes are atrophied in those areas that would compel them to have compassion and empathy and whatnot. And so like, here's the thing too that they'll never understand. uh, YT doesn't even exist. That's not even a real thing. Like literally, like even as black people, I know that's the other side of the coin, but black people, like we have culture, we have family music, food, we have all these things that can define us as an ethnicity, you know? But when it comes to whiteness, there's no culture, there's no definitive thing that actually makes them an ethnicity at all. So, they would do better to say, you know what, I'm German American, I'm English American, I'm, Dutch American, I'm, Scottish American, I'm Irish and Spanish, literally whatever. But if they were to do that, if they were actually to claim their actual nationalities and give up on the fact that whiteness is not even an ethnicity, then they absolutely would become the minority that they fear, because there's more, everything else than there are Irish people, there's more everything else than there are Scottish people, so they have to band together under this banner of whiteness to exist. And so, it's sad, but it's one of those things, again, they'll never understand. And also, the other side of that that's really sad to me is that if they were to really question just why they're so scared of becoming or claiming the fact that they are the minority, if they were to dig into that, they would understand it's not because they're worried about being replaced. Because, again, that's just begging the question of what are you so scared about becoming the minority from? What are you so scared about being replaced from? And it's just that they can't fathom treating minorities better. So they think that the way that minorities are currently treated is how they're going to be treated if they become the minority. And so it's almost like, listen, if y'all literally just worked on yourselves and tried to, learn how to gain empathy, go to therapy, figure your shit out, how much better of a world would this be? And it's just sad that they literally will never do it. So again, I built standwithsophie.com because even if Kamala Harris got in office, like like America was garbage already. Like we had so much disparities and so much, racisms and all kind of things still. Even when it comes to the political side of things, like there was always this consolidation of power into the executive branch. Like, so I feel like Trump's kind of highlighting things and showing things, and like you said, emboldening things, but it's not like these things weren't already there. So, again, because they'll never see it, they'll never embrace it, they'll never change, we have to start fending for ourselves. We have to start taking care of each other. And I'm with you 1,000% on everything except for the whole karma thing. I genuinely feel like, we can't rely on the yin yang of it all, the tit for tat of it all to come back. And honestly, I don't think that's something that as black people we have ever wanted for them anyway. We're not vengeful people, or else think about how much worse life would have been for them after slavery and civil rights and the, Reconstruction and all, and Tulsa and Move and all the things that they've done to us. It's like they're scared of this retaliation that's just not ever gonna come. Um, and it's because I think again we can't and don't rely on karma because we're not interested in payback or revenge. We just want to be. How much how hard is it for them to understand that we just want to fucking exist? Even our previous caller, as a trans person, she's not asking for, them to be barred from bathrooms or for them to be, ostracized. She just wants to fucking exist. And that's literally all I think any marginalized group has ever fucking asked for. And so, again, I don't, I agree with everything else you said except for the fact that karma is coming for them because it hasn't at all historically. Hmm. 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 And becoming of a solid voting bloc even after emancipation. So absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Mm. Very good point. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Companies. Yeah. I got you. Hmm. I saw that. Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
particular voting district because of my race. That those things are ridiculous. It is old fashioned. It is, and again, it's for incompetent people who cannot fathom any type of competition from other people who don't look like them. So,
Mm-hmm.
but thank you for having me up. I do appreciate it. And your baby is gorgeous.
Thank you. She's
Oh, she
been
really
really good about sleeping during this. And I'm
is.
sorry I was distracted a bit. I was trying to make sure I'm streaming to YouTube and Kick and Twitch and everywhere else too. I was just trying to make
Okay.
sure they could hear what you were saying as well. But very, very poignant thoughts, and I really appreciate you sharing them and coming on today. Please follow and share and tap and do all the things. And you're welcome back anytime. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Like, thank you. You have a good rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Oh, and I see I have another guest request. Adora, make sure you follow and come back. I'm gonna keep everywhere else. I'm sorry, I was just trying to help everybody to hear for the other places that I was streaming to, but I'm going to go ahead and just jump back into the headlines. Um, and I'm going to start back with my evening shows where we actually do have more interaction and debate and conversation. So make sure you follow so that you can jump on for those. It used to be called Call a Liberal, but I'm not too sure if I want to keep going down that road because, again, I'm not really entertaining the bullshit anymore because I used to try to find bridges between our ways of thinking, for people who are trying to talk in good faith, but they're just so few and far between. They're just so few and far between. But we can keep trying. We'll see. But anyway, just to kind of keep going with the news of the day, we already talked about Adriana Smith and how it's day 106 for her being a human incubator. We already talked about how the White House rescinded federal guidance on emergency ABs, which is going to be devastating for especially Republican led states. We started to get into how Trump has partnered with Peter Thiel supported Peter Thiel's company Palantir, and how that's even pissing off MAGA because basically what it is a database company and a data company. And so basically, they have partnered in order to assist in compiling a database of personal information on American citizens. So this is something that you definitely want to keep an eye on. You definitely want to watch out for. Now, I do this like Republican senator character. So if you follow me and you look at some of my videos, you'll see I'm Sophie, I'm your Republican congresswoman, and I just do the southern accent, and I make these silly bills that are silly. They're so far right that they actually become kind of progressive. So I have a bill that I say that's like, oh, in order to stop all ABs, all men have to get vasectomies. Or in order to protect real women, because we got to protect real women, all men are going into a red flag database where women can talk about their experiences with each man. And so I'm joking in these are hyperbole, they're satire. And then lo and behold, Donald Trump literally just partnered with Palantir in order to create a database of personal information on American citizens, which is nuts to me. So it's sad when, The Onion and Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons and all these things that are fantastical and talking about these hypotheticals of what happens in history, and even my little Sophie's Laws and stuff, how they're coming true. We can't even have satire anymore because they're so ridiculous with their bills and their laws and their partnerships and their actions. It's just insane. So keep an eye on that, everybody. Palantir, my girl, the wireless woman, she works in like financial advising. So I'm gonna have to let her know like that's something to keep an eye on today, because their stock has gone up precipitously. Another thing that's happened in the Trump administration is that Donald Trump lost Musk. So he essentially fired him the other day because he came to the end of his tenure as a special employee with Doge. But it's been said that Ellen wanted to actually stay on for longer. He was expecting to go past the 130 days. And then just yesterday, he actually said, "Oh, I can't take it anymore," and he blasted on Twitter how the new big beautiful bill is so bad, it's an abomination. His actual tweet is, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." So he's essentially calling out Trump, who hasn't said anything in reply, by the way, which is crazy. Um, let's see. He didn't fire him. He was temporary. Yeah, that's what I literally just said, sweetheart. He was there for 130 days, but he did expect to be asked to continue, and he wasn't. Um, so yeah, so now Musk has officially 134 days in uh gone against Trump, and so we'll see how that plays out. Again, just the we in the news yesterday we talked about how Trump just went against the Federalist Society, who put all the judges in place, including many of the judges on the Supreme Court. Um, and he just went against Leonard Leo and called him a sleazebag. so, so Trump is just alienating all the rich and powerful people that he was kissing up to before. So we'll see how that works out for him. Again, it's a bold move, Cotton. It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see. And so just moving on in the news, because again, I'm Sophie of standwithsophie.com. Please follow, because I do this daily just to try to give you the headlines from the future, because I live in the UK, so I'm able to see 5 hours into America's, timeline to tell you what's going to be important today. So we all heard about Jodi Ernst, and she was in her FA phase where she was fucking around. Somebody said in response to some of the Medicaid cuts that are coming, she's a Republican representative, and she literally responded to somebody saying that people are going to die by saying, "We're all going to die." Just the most callous and obtuse and tone deaf comment you could possibly make is what she said. And then the next day went on to do an Instagram apology where she essentially made fun of the people who took umbrage with what she said. And so that was all the FA. Now we got a FO. So Iowa Democrat JD Scholten is slated to challenge her in a primary. So we'll see how that goes, but good luck to him. And honestly, we're seeing a lot of these, you know, I guess races, including the Wisconsin race for the judge seat that Ellen paid all that money to try to win. We're seeing the sentiment in elections and in voting start to swing back to the Democrat side, even with them not doing a goddamn thing, even with them sucking so profusely. Like, good Lord, the Democrats need to step it up. I don't understand what they're doing. But this is a nice step to see. So this Iowa Democrat, JD Scholten, again, is going to challenge Joni Ernst. So that's good. We'll see. Moving on with, again, some more headlines that might matter today. Now, I know we all heard about the Colorado fire bombing situation. That was a gentleman named Mohammed Solomon, who is Egyptian born. He was basically upset with this group that continued to meet for quite some time in regards to some of the his Ray Helly hostages that were taken on October 7th, and they formed a group called Run for Their Lives, and they met regularly to try to, have vigils for these hostages. And Mohammed Solomon fired them literally. So it's not funny. It's not funny. Like I don't think that's cool at all. But now there's reports that his family, he's got 5 children and a wife, and they're all now being taken into immigration custody, which is nuts. He said he'd been planning this attack for over a year. If he had the chance, he would do it again. He'd want everybody gone. He's just, I mean, that's terrible. That's terrible. Like, we're all, I think, sane and rational and empathetic people are all very much concerned with and empathize with the plight of the Palestinian people. But this is not the way to help things. This is not going to help matters. Black Austin says black fatigue. You damn right I have black fatigue. I'm so tired of y'all. I swear to God. But yeah, so now his whole family is getting taken away, and yeah, so it sucks. And along the lines of, yeah, no, keep commenting every time you make a comment. That's internet points for me, baby. So thank you so much for that. Also, just moving into world news then, in regards to the whole Gaza situation. US backed Gaza aid group is to halt distribution on Wednesday. And this is awful. You would think that this is something that is being spurred on by his Rahel. It's not. Thanks, Adora. It's the US backed group, and what is their name? The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They're literally having to stop giving aid because every time they do for the last 3 days, his Rahel has literally murdered people, bombings and drone strikes at the aid sites. So this is not going after Hamas. This is not going after criminals or any sort of militaristic groups or targets. They're specifically targeting these people who are trying to get humanitarian aid, and it's disgusting. And so they're literally having to stop giving them aid so they don't get unalived, and it's horrible. Just yesterday, 27 people were unalived by his Rahel at a Gaza aid place, and that was like the third day that happened. So absolutely disgusting. But a shining bright light on the other side of that coin would be Greta Thunberg, who is on her way to try to help. She left out of Italy 3 days ago, and she's literally shipping as much aid as she can to the Gaza Strip. She's expected to reach the Strip on June 7th. And so we really, really wish her well. They tried in May, and his Rahel drone striked the freaking boat, and so the whole front of it was messed up. It was just all on fire and everything. It was awful. And so, she's trying again. Hopefully they can get there by June 7th. And once they're there, there's also actor Ian Cunningham, who is a Game of Thrones star, who's championing this, and they want to try to keep it coming. So we'll see how it goes. But Lindsey Graham, South Carolina Congressman Lindsey Graham, tweeted that he hopes that Greta and her friends can swim. If that tells you anything about this piece of shit person. Another headline from World News that's hopeful, I think, is just expanding on the drone strikes that Ukraine initiated in Russia against 41 different military airstrike targets. They the way they did this was masterful. Like, it was so slick. They need to do a movie about this. They literally had operatives in Russia, like all the way from Siberia to closer to Moscow, and they had people all over in Russia that helped them to coordinate for the past 18 months, getting the drones into the country, getting them onto tractor trailers and positioned close enough to the targets to then coordinate the strike at the same time remotely and then get everybody out. So Rush is claiming that they have actually apprehended some of the people involved, but they haven't. They're lying because Ukraine said that they got all of their operatives out in time. And so just the visuals are so stunning. I'm so proud of them. I think it's amazing that they're fighting back. And it also has me thinking that when Zelensky was sitting there in the Oval Office with all those people, not just Trump and not just JD Vance, but also those reporters that were really trying to ask him why he wasn't wearing a suit and really attacking him and trying to say, oh, you don't have any cards to play. In doing their negotiating where they basically gave up everything before they actually sat down at the table. I'm just so glad to know that in the back of his mind he was like, yo, we got something for your ass. We got something. We're working on something and see what happens. See what happens. And sure enough, so I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then also, I think that was a couple days ago, but just recently, Ukraine also has claimed that an underwater bomb attack on Russia's Crimean bridge was their responsibility. So they are going for them, and I am here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. I have a friend who lives in Dalian, China. He's my boy's easily one of my best friends, and he's very like pro this war ending. However, which translates into him being kind of pro Russian. And I'm like, no, no, you know, just he's basically saying that why don't they just acquiesce because they're getting all these people killed, and it's like, you know, yes, but they didn't start it. The only person who can really stop it, like if Ukraine stops all of their efforts today, they get overtaken. If Russia stops all their efforts today, the war is over. So it's like, who is the real aggressor here? It seems quite obvious to me. And so, you know, we have interesting conversations. I might see if I can get him on the podcast to just share his side of things. But ultimately, you know, I just don't think the bullies should win. I really don't. And so I'm really proud of Ukraine for stepping up. In other world news, Canada's wildfires are going strong. They're actually, the effects are being felt all the way down in Florida. So make sure you stay careful, stay safe, wear your masks. I know MAGA won't listen, but you know, wear your masks. Um, Ask Ukrainian men what they think of Zelensky. Okay. Are you a Ukrainian man? And if so, what do you think of Zelensky? Um, let's see. Also, with the Canada wildfires becoming a thing that is actually impacting the United States, and seeing how hurricane season and the tornadoes that are going around the Midwest as of now are doing massive amounts of damage today now. Um, FEMA, the head of FEMA, literally just told his staff that he was unaware that the United States even had a hurricane season. so, so yet another feather in the cap for Trump, um, decimating our establishments and our agencies. So, you know, again, just be careful, you guys. I'll end with, again, please just go to standwithsophie.com for stuff like this. Like if you find yourself in a situation where you know there's a natural disaster, or God forbid something has gone down because, you know, Pearl Harbor led us to World War II. 9/11 led us to the Iraq War. You know, like who knows what they're gonna make happen to get us more involved in. I'm thinking they're gonna try to push us into this whole Gaza situation. There's all this talk about Iran. So y'all, you know, let's stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And in light of, even if it's just some kind of a natural disaster or a power outage or whatever, let's start having the tools that we need to be prepared for any eventuality, whether it's utility based internet outages, whether you're being detained or pulled over or whatever. Like, let's start thinking of all these different contingencies. Go to standwithsophie.com. I have live trainings where we literally talk about hardening your vulnerabilities, hacking your phone as best we can to make sure you're nice and protected, setting up phone shortcuts. Um, and then also providing you with like gear lists and things that you might need just to have a go bag ready. I call it set it and forget it survival. So if we can have plans in place, know what we're going to do in case things happen or go down. If they don't, awesome. We have all this extra hiking equipment. We can, be ready in case we have a power outage or whatever. But if things do go down, then you have everything you need and you don't have to think about what to do. So please, please, again, go to standwithsophie.com. I'll show you guys who are on everything that's not TikTok what that looks like. So here's my website. There's options to join for free, or if you want to support my work, you have monthly options there or one-time payment options there. Even just following on social media. So thanks for everybody who's tapping and following and sharing. That's so nice of you. It really helps me to fund this work. So once you join, even if just for free, you get my survival guide, which is here. And it just talks about the mindset that you need to be in. It talks about some of the equipment that you could have on hand, some reading material that might be good, ways to go ahead and get your phone sorted out to have offline maps and to set up a secondary home screen and things like that just to keep yourself protected. And then also, again, I have my full survival kit, which has printable action cards in multiple languages: Ukrainian, Arabic, Spanish, Mandarin. I have, again, iPhone shortcuts ready to go, one click shopping carts to get the gear you need, and of course, secure comms so we can all make sure we're staying safe and building community with each other. So check it out, standwithsophie.com. I'm going to start bringing some of my trainings, I think, to the public. So again, follow so that you can see what I'm up to. And again, just to kind of recap everything, because again, I want to try to give a little 3-minute overview for folks who didn't want to sit here and watch this whole thing. I am Sophie of standwithsophie.com, where I provide survival guides, live trainings, secure comms, and so much more because I escaped the United States. If you weren't so lucky, then I got you because I live in the UK now and I am 5 hours into your future. So that means that I can share the news that might matter today and I won't be disappeared for doing it. So today marks day 106 that Adriana Smith is being used as a human incubator, unfortunately, which is disgusting. And then that's going to keep being a thing because the White House just rescinded federal guidance on emergency abortions. I don't know if I can even say that, but okay. In other news, Trump has partnered with Palantir, which has angered even his own base because that's a company that handles data and databases. And so it's actually owned by Peter, or was co-founded by Peter Thiel, which is who got JD Vance into office, if that tells you anything. And what they're trying to do with this partnership is to compile a database of personal information on American citizens. So please keep your eye on that. Elon Musk has officially broken with Trump. He has called his big beautiful bill a disgusting abomination. This comes a day after his final day with the administration, managing Doge or not managing it, whatever. He basically called him out on Twitter. There has yet to be a response from Trump in regards to this. Congress person, Representative Joni Ernst, Republican in Iowa, has just FO'd from her FA because now she's being primaried by Iowa Democrat J.D. Scholten. So good luck to him. The man who committed the Boulder fire bombings against the pro-Israeli group, who was championing the hostages, he has been not only taken into custody and charged with terrorism and hate crimes and whatnot, but his entire family, consisting of his wife and 5 children, have also been taken into immigration custody. They are from Egypt and by way of Syria, and so who knows where they're going to end up. The U.S. backed Gaza humanitarian foundation is having to stop providing aid. They're going to stop today because every time they do, his Rahel schmurders people, and so they're having to make the difficult decision to cease aid. Um, but luckily, Greta Thunberg is on her way in a flotilla that will arrive on June 7th, hopefully, without any other disruptions from his Rahel. We all heard about the beautiful Ukraine drone strikes in Russia, but they also are claiming a underwater bomb attack on Russia's Crimean bridge, which is dope. Be aware that Canada's wildfires are still becoming a problem all the way down to even Florida, so take care of yourselves. Also, it's going to impact gas prices. The Independent is reporting. FEMA, the head of FEMA, in light of the fact that we have these wildfires, and we're in tornado season and hurricane season, the head of FEMA told his staff that he was unaware that the U.S. even had a hurricane season. So, yay! And those are the big headlines to keep an eye on that should matter today to you if you're in America. Um, and also, if you are interested again in learning more about Stand with Sophie, just follow or visit standwithsophie.com for more information on how to better navigate some of these headlines that are literally keeping us lockstep with this guy right here. You can't see it on Instagram, but H-Man. So that's it for the day. Join me back again tomorrow for Today in the Fourth Reich, where we will discuss the headlines from the future tomorrow. So thanks for joining. And I think I'm missing a few comments, so sorry. I think I've just missed quite a few. Adora, I hope you will follow because you've had some wonderful things to say. Spino hater, y'all just mad that the person you didn't want to win. Okay. You know what? What's wrong with that? I don't understand why people act like we shouldn't be upset that Kamala Harris didn't win. She was amazing. But with that, I'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. See you tomorrow morning.